day when I was struggling with peace, with having internal peace. And I was like, this is so different from what I think about myself now. What if there is someone out there that could use my experience and I don't know, like use it as an inspiration or whatever? Like, what if there is someone that could actually benefit from me sharing this? And I am keeping all my like dirty rags to myself because I think that this isn't as high vibe as I want to share or as I want to be. But honestly, there are so many people that inspired me when, like, they inspired me back when, and I still get very, very much inspired by people who are, walking the walk. So this is me. This is how I started walking the walk. I was very, very unaware at first of like myself. Very, I would say I had a very proud, um, mhm, uh, mask type of defense mechanism instead of real, authentic self esteem. So, that is how everything started. I wish, did you guys get the notifications? I wonder if I'm like doing this right. Join me if you received the invitation. Come on. And if not, let's do it next time. But do hit on the notification bell so that you can get so you can get notified when I'm going live because I would love to speak to you guys live. So what I'm doing differently today is that I have notes finally. So I usually come on like with a topic and I just ramble. But today I have straight at the camera. I'm looking at my notes. I'm so proud of myself for taking notes. 2019. I think COVID was 2020. It was before. It was pre COVID. I how I noticed that I like make 100 trips a day. As soon as I drank even water, I would have an extreme stomach ache, and it wasn't like I had an ulcer. Thank God, I did not develop that yet. Yeah, so that bad into it, but it was the beginning. It was a beginning stage of deterioration. I remember I went to this doctor and I was like, I can't eat anything. Like when you're explaining the symptoms, but you're not telling the person what the real problem is because you're kind of like embarrassed slash um, there's no hope for me slash whatever. So I was just telling him, oh my God, my stomach and it hurts and the D word. And after he checked me and everything, he was like, well, you're so stressed out. I am surprised that you can even walk. Like, I'm really impressed that you can hold yourself up. So I tried changing my diet, of course. You try the superficial things that never work because that's not the main issue. Uh, I did start jogging, which was superficial, but it did actually like help me release a little bit. Also gave me space, gave me time by myself, which I needed, and time to reflect, to see myself. And I also tried. Well, he said try to rest more, but how can you sleep when you're so, how they say we have like different modes of defense mechanisms, fight, flight, freeze or fawn. I was in the fight mode. And there was barely any, I couldn't eat. I was in pain. So if you're having like any symptoms that you're like, where is this coming from? I would like to invite you to first check your personal life instead of going to the doctor for medicine, or of course, the outside can change the inside, but mainly everything comes from your thoughts. Like that's the origin of everything. So if you want to change something that is going to make a drastic change in your life, this is it. Thoughts. Because that's how everything that has been created was created. So that is how stressed I was. And one of the things that I think marked that time for me was that I always looked pissed off. My resting face was, I don't know why. Well, I know why. But that is something that woke me up because at this stage of my life, I thought that I was having a problem because someone was treating me this or that way. So I thought that I had a problem with this person because this person didn't want to do what I wanted the person to do. But why did I have this resting phase when he wasn't here? Why couldn't I go back to normal when he wasn't here? So it's like, if he was the problem, then, but when he leaves for work or whatever, when I'm by myself, I should be good, right? I should be happy. I should be back to the baseline. But I wasn't happy when he wasn't around. I was still fighting in my head. So that shows clearly that the problem wasn't the other person. There was another problem. Chocolate. That's how I compensate myself, by the way. Yeah, I can't drink some chocolate. Chocolate it is. Chocolate and water a lot. Um, it was draining, especially because while the person was here, I was fighting the person and observing his actions and criticizing in my head and bickering and fighting and trying to convince and trying to control and trying to win arguments, and a constant fight. And when he was away, it was a constant fight. I had no peace, for real. There was no peace. And that is why this episode is called like that. I just want peace. Because I remember in my head, I was like, people want so many things. People want money, people want businesses, people want kids. I just want to live in peace. I just want peace. But I couldn't have that. And I remember I stumbled upon Byron Katie. That was like back when. And I remember, well, I read her story somewhere that she had been taken to the hospital or she hospitalized herself. Somehow she ended up in a room by herself with her thoughts. And then she started questioning her thoughts because she noticed that it was a thought, another thought, and then the pattern of feeling this or that way. And and she was like, well, it's the thoughts that bring on the feelings. So let's question the thoughts. Like, let's stop this spiral where it begins before the snowball starts going down and just getting bigger and bigger. And I love Byron Katie. Was she asked, is this really true? Like, is this universally true? Is this like scientifically tested true? And the other question, how is it working out for me? How is it helping me? So at this point, I did go to therapy. Like I was having therapy with a professional weekly. But therapy doesn't work unless you work. So I needed to do something because I was dealing with a ton of anxiety. I was having a lot of nervous energy, a lot of people saving. a lot of intrusive thoughts, a lot of spiraling. And something I noticed was that as I, because at first I was just like trying to solve the problem by myself, but as I started sharing what I was going through with people that were not qualified, what people call venting, it just got worse. So I would feel bad, go to a friend or a family member, and somehow end up talking about this. And afterwards, I would feel even worse. I wonder if this is cutting off again. Yeah, I think it is. The internet. So venting didn't help me at all. And I don't know if you have ever felt like this, but when I would vent, I would feel like all of a sudden, not only was I feeling bad, but the other person as well. So that was very unproductive for me. What did work for me though, because you do need to get it out, like you need to express it. Somehow you need to open the faucet and start letting things through.